o'clock this morning. I thought we were reviewing these Ping Glide 4.0 wedges. What are you doing?
I'm wetting my balls.
I beg your pardon.
We're doing the glide wedge, aren't we?
Well, yeah, what?
So I've wetted my balls in authentic UK rain on Mud Island.
It's not raining again, is it?
Let's test wet and dry. These pings are meant to be grippy. So let's take a look at these Ping Glide 4 wedges. We've got Matt, you've got a club in your hand.
I've got a Vokey.
So you've got an SM8. We can't SM9s. I have to get hold of it in a minute, but SM8, and it's pretty fresh.
Pretty fresh grooves on this
Tested a few times. We're going to do wet and dry because these are meant to excel in both. Little fun game in the end. So looks to kick us off. They look amazing. If I give you the 52 to look at, Matt, like it looks amazing. Lovely and brown, lovely leading edge. I think that looks really good.
I feel like they've taken it from the Vokey factory.
Yeah, it is a little bit Vokey-esque.
It looks very nice. Fin top line, isn't it, and everything.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And it's a lovely leading edge into the ground. It is a really beautiful shape. And then we get the Glide 4, but we get the E. So the E sole is the old Ping I. So this one isn't pretty. Like this one is like, but think of it as high toe is what they're doing, and it's classic. Like I remember this wedge coming out. So like if you look at that.
Yeah, that's proper ugly.
It's proper Frankenstein,
like,
isn't it?
What's going on with the bottom groove and stuff like that? And why is there not grooves all the way across the face? Because I thought they like all just follow a pattern. Once one does it, everyone
Yeah, well, Ping have never done that, actually, have they? But they've got grinding and they've got milling across all the face.
Yeah, like that is ugly.
Yeah. So we've got the wet balls and the dry balls. I'm going to collect data first with the dry ball. 35-yard pitch is our discipline, and I'm going to hit a 58 degree. So we'll stick to this and we'll see if there is actually any truth bearing out in the claims. We'll talk about the tech in a second. So I love the flight of that. See how it goes in nice and low? I can see it in the streams in here. We would go outside and do this, but it is pouring down. That's, if you can hear that, that's them closing the course because of the fog and the rain. That's like, Mud Island, give us a break, stop raining. Again, look at it, goes in nice and low, we've got a little bit of check. That's exactly the flight I would expect to see.
Yep.
Everything dry and controlled like it is in here. Question, watchers and you, Matthew.
Shoot.
This club doesn't feel soft. We'll look if it's forged or not. Vokeys aren't forged.
No.
Why are we allowed, or do we need forged irons? And it's a thing. Feels forged, feels soft, feels nice. I'll say it and people say it. But then wedges, people don't care.
Don't know why you've asked me that, because I don't know the answer.
No, but don't you think that's interesting? The fact that
I've actually never thought about it.
And that's the main point. That's the point.
Yeah.
The fact that you haven't thought about it is why it doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter. If I'm selling blue trousers and no one is thinking about if blue trousers are good or bad or what it says, let's say there's some new cultural rule that says if you wear blue trousers, you're like not a nice person, but no one thinks about it. I'm just going to keep selling because they keep selling. Why would I change it? Until someone goes, hang on, we need forged irons, but we don't need... But I'm not saying this isn't forged. Should we look at the tech? Let's look at the tech as I collect a little bit of data. Because it feels nice, but it doesn't feel like soft. It doesn't feel like a forged iron.
Because of the speed that is coming off the club face and stuff, does that make...
because it's audible, feel is going to be...
Yeah, but if it's forged and then not forged at a slow pace...
But it's not as if forged irons, the ball comes off the face slower, is it?
No,
it doesn't.
But, like you might not feel as much of a difference. It's like so close with the less
see what you
speed
mean.
Compared to
so
like
if I hit it
100
an
miles
inch,
an hour.
I wouldn't be able to tell if it's a brick or anything almost.
Yeah.
So what point, where's the tipping point? What speed is the tipping point? Oh, that does look and feel blooming lovely. So it's an 860/20 carbon steel body, and it's got elastomer CTP insert. So they are playing with the feel of it with the insert, but it is a carbon steel body. Milled
forged.
No, it doesn't need to be, because obviously it doesn't need to be now. Milled grooves and face blast.
Oh, I like that.
So this is what we're going to be really testing. So it's the new Emery face blast adds more texture to the hitting surface, creating higher friction and more interaction between clubs and ball for more spin and lower launch. And I'm seeing that lower launch there. So this is also the mill grooves and the face blast is something that might be helping us a little bit when the weather conditions change. Compact shape, definitely seeing that. So for full shots, the grooves in the lower lofted wedges, so 52, 46, 50, are milled to 20 degrees sidewall, and around the green, higher lofted versions are milled to 0.004 edge radius. So basically it's a sharper radius when you get to around the green. And then you've got these grinds. So S grind, W grind, T grind, and E grind. So you've got your grinds. Yeah, so you've got your narrowers, and then your mediums and your thick, and then you've got the E, which is high toe, improved leading edge shaping. You know, it's just your pig ugly, but I want that high toe, like classic wedge design. I mean, attacking ping wedges, I think they are ahead of the game with the wedges, which we will test against that Vokey you were holding. So Matt's just going to hit a few. This isn't in our data collection because it's going to use one player because we want to keep everything consistent. So wet ball, dry ball, we're going to test, and it's all my numbers that we're using just because I started it first, basically.
Spinny.
Yeah.
And if the old wet numbers are similar to dry numbers, then you're literally like Mr. Consistent, aren't you? You know what's going to happen. It's not like, oh, it's wet today, will this run out more, will it not?
Yeah.
It's just literally,
so
this is my trajectory and this is how it's going to react, which is great.
Which we'll show you in this video, because it does make a difference. When it's wet, you'll get different launch characteristics and spins and those kind of ideas. So I think there will be a difference. It'll be interesting to see what the drop-off is, because there will be a drop-off. That's the fun of golf, is that you can't control everything. Nature has to play its part. And then it'll be really interesting to see the drop-off between a Vokey, say, and these. Do you know what I mean? It feels like firmish, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I'm like going for the pin and making it stop.
Zippy zoos, isn't it? So I'm going to try a couple now with the E grind just to see if I can tolerate its looks. And again, this isn't in my data set because it's one club, one ball, and a dry and a wet, which we'll show you the data for.
Because what's quite interesting with this one is that you would game that, wouldn't you, if it did something? Like,
100%.
I would struggle to game that.
I would 100% game that. The leading edge is phenomenal. It is so rounded, isn't it?
And that little groove at the bottom, it like proper froze me.
Well, I mean, the more grooves you add, I presume the more chance you've got of creating a little bit more, you know, dispersion of the rubbish between the ball and the face and a bit more chance of gripping it. You can't have that amount of club protruding and not do something with it. Like, it really is. Let me compare it, look. So I'm not sure if you're seeing that or not. I mean, this is nice and medium rounded. This really down in this bottom toe shoots out. And I hit all my strikes down here, so I like the fact it does that.
You can see how much it does it as well, look, because of the length of the bottom groove.
Yeah.
Like, look at it. It's tiny compared to that one.
Absolutely, because there's nowhere for it to go. Yeah. And do you know what this club makes me think of? You ain't going to get this.
You're probably going to say something that I wouldn't even seen before on TV.
Well, it makes me think of the Wizard of Oz, because it makes me think of the Wicked Witch. It just makes me think of her hands, which are on her chin. It makes me think of, it's like the Wicked Witch.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it looks like a, you know, it looks like if you were to draw a witch's face or hand, you would have shapes and knuckles on it like this.
It's when you go a bit Marvel on me, I get a bit lost.
So it doesn't feel any different. That was a real low spinner. See how soft that came off? That like went in so low.
Can hit this one a bit harder.
A lot harder.
Get it back there. Oh yeah, ripper. Oh.
Yeah, that was nice. I mean, it feels the same. And again, I absolutely would game this. I like the big sole, and I think out of bunkers and what have you, this thing's just going to be so popular with the high toe. I just don't think people will get the Wicked Witchness of it enough to trial it, which is a shame. And the other big thing I hate about wedges, which I think all companies owe you more as a purchaser, you know, they owe you a lot more, is that they just don't give you enough chance to test them. They give you enough chance to test the drivers because you demand it. And you should all start demanding wedges. It's just not fair. Like, they're not cheap and they're so specialised, and the companies need to start providing more demos. And it's to do with it's to do with spreadsheets and businesses, which it shouldn't be. If they're saying this is all better, and like, get them into shops for people to test. Come on, companies, try a bit harder. So I just want to show you something, Matt, that when I mean, I've hit like over 100 shots with wet and dry so dry and wet with this and dry and wet ball, kept dry in the face, with the Vokey, which will show you the data before we end and go to our competition. I want you to hit a shot like this, you know, with your 58 degree in the glide, and then take one of the wet balls here, so this ball out in the rain, nice and wet, and then I just want you to hit a shot and tell me what you see. So instantly I can see that's popped up a little bit higher. And I don't know how much of that was me. You can see, if you're picking that up, you see the splatter of the water coming up that face. So this is what you're competing against, what Ping are trying to compete with. Then you're going to get the Vokey, and again, we're going to show you the numbers for this in a second. Hit the dry, which goes, look at that, goes in same and looks the same.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get some more wet balls out there and take a wet ball. Face is dry, because I can control that. It just pops up. I mean, that's quite a good one for the Vokey.
Yeah.
But it pops, like, it's noticeable. So Ping dry first, which you've just hit, you're going to see what you normally get. Little firm, but nice and medium to low flight. Here's a fresh wet one from outdoors. Like, that's impressive. Like, that's the same flight pretty much for a visual. We'll show the data. Now grab the Vokey. So Vokey dry.
Hitting this a bit hard, but I've landed all three in the same spot.
Yeah, so with the Vokey, try and land that in the same spot. Fresh wet one. Like, look at, that's the highest stream you've had today.
Yeah.
Like, even on one shot, and I thought that we would have to hit a lot of shots to see this play through, but it's amazing. It plays through really quickly. Let's show you the data I collected over basically 2 days, unfortunately, a lot of pitching. Hit hundreds of shots, nearly 400 shots with all the clubs to try and make this point. Let's show you, it's really is amazing. So look at that data.
That's crazy. Like, the thing that stands out straight away is that backspin, isn't it?
The backspin is amazing. So glide dry 5.6, glide wet 5.4, Vokey in the game dry, look, 5.5. Like, there's no difference. Standard deviation overlapping these, carrying all the same standard deviations, launching very similar standard deviation overlapping these, or sorry, ball speeds, and then launching overlapping with the standard deviations. And then we go wet with the Vokey, ball speed stays the same because we're trying to hit the distance, launch rockets up, and spin drops off massively. And it's got the biggest variable, so 700 deviation compared to staying around 500, 400 with the other one. So you're getting low spin, bigger deviation, but it has to be said, I was still able to do the task on average because the standard deviation of carry and distance was the same.
Yeah, because I was literally about to say that before we came to the numbers with my 4 shots, that they're all ending up exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like, how much difference does that spin make if at this sort of distance and this speed? Like,
well, I think it's situation based now. So I think the statistical difference is huge. The Vokey in the rain, if you're going to class good performance as spin control across 2 different groups of sets, dry to wet, same club, same ball, same environment, the Vokey's rubbish. Like, the Vokey is, for the size of that brand and how good that wedge is in the world of golf, that is just useless compared to that. But if the task actually ends up being the same, what difference does this make? Well, what difference this will make is that you will get a popper that comes up short when you might not with this.
yeah.
And in the right situation, it's going to hit a bunker, and in the wrong situation, it won't matter. So there's so many other variables that would make this play out.
Because I think as well, when it's wet, like, you don't really want a high spin because you want it to roll out a bit more probably because it's going to be softer and slower out there. Isn't
But
it,
you do want, surely you do want a consistent launch.
And that's what we go back to. I said earlier. Like,
and you want a consistency.
If it's consistent on both conditions, then you know what trajectory is going to come out, you know what spin is going to come out, and then you adjust to what the conditions are, don't you? Where to land it and so on.
The other argument as well, or idea, so we're using the word consistent. The Vokey was consistent, it was just consistently launching higher and lower. So if I know that, I can do what I've done there, which is make it go the right distance. Because those spin numbers are very different. How much of that will play out? Like, people, when you say the word spin, people just, in their minds, they go, spin, like they see on tour and stuff like that. That shot is going to check up at best. It might rip back in some situations. If the green is all set up, it won't even be just to do with the club. So making that play out in situation definitely would be hard to find. But just imagine if there are those situations that you're not noticing where it plays out.
I think it's one of these things that over a course of a season,
it's a massive, you have to have a big deficit.
Yeah, you might see that you average a bit closer or something, I don't know.
And let's say you're not aware, like I'm aware, so it's a bit wet, or my ball's, so it could be dry, because as well, I don't think wet what we're competing with, it could be dewy, and the ground could still be hard and bouncy.
Yeah.
So now I know with my Vokey that isn't maybe going to check up quite as quickly possibly.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to my land angle because it's dewy, so how I'm going to work that in. So it's a combination of the skill and your skill and knowledge of what happens that will make that play out or not. But you can't deny that difference.
That is a big difference.
You need to decide, and I'm not saying there's a right or wrong here, because like Matt's saying, and I agree, it works both ways, if that is something of value to you. Because if it is, you would never buy a Vokey again.
That's probably the biggest difference I've seen in a bit of equipment
in a
long time.
Controlled like-for-like test, that is ginormous.
Yeah.
But again, the difference, I'm not going to play with someone who's got a Vokey and think it's wet, see him hit a chip and think, well, we need to change some wedges. I'm going to say to them,
you need a glide.
You need to understand what you're doing a bit more. Let's play. Series of challenges then, Matt. Wet v dry.
Okay.
So let's go. We're at the back of 17 here at St Andrews. We've made the green super firm and
super quick.
Super quick. And this chip is funny. Like it just doesn't stop. So I'm going to go glide, dry, ball dry.
Okay. You're
going to go Vokey, wet ball.
Oh, you're going to spin it on me.
No, and then we'll flip it.
We'll switch. Okay, cool.
So I am dry, zippy doo die. 14 yards, and this thing needs stopping.
Oh, that is a spinner.
Oh. Stop. Needed more height.
Oh, that's quick.
So I had 4,600 revs and I'm 15 foot away. Definitely needed more height. Wet ball, but you can control the face. Like there's no need to hit a wet face, but in reality, there would be times where you hit a wet face, wouldn't there?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to dry it either, and that will just add even more variation.
So I can play this however I want.
15 foot. It's just, this is now more practical. So yes, we saw a statistical difference, but how does that play out when playing shots? Oh, we shanked it.
Finned it.
Oh God, Vokey can't help it if you shank it, bruh.
Went for the ultimate.
4,200 spin because you nearly shanked it. Right, same challenge. Now I'm going wet with the Vokey, dry in the face, wet ball.
My chipping needs some work.
So I've gone poppy. See, it won't stop though. Is that, yeah, look at it. I reckon that's, so 15.9 is where I was with the zippy. 15.3, so that is inside my ping shot.
Yeah.
But look at the spin, 3,000, 1,000 down.
Land angle.
Land angle helped me. Yeah. So again, how much plays out? Not sure if you can see that. There you go. See the wet on the face there from my shot? Because I look at it all here there.
Splash.
So you're dry, ping dry.
Dry.
And you've got 15.3 to beat.
Oh, yeah. That's good, isn't it?
It's too low again, but it's got the spin. I think that's...
Stop!
Oh, no.
Just stop! Oh.
82.
I thought I hit a good one.
So question for you then. This is really interesting. Is the non-spin high pop in this situation actually helping you? Because I couldn't get from this lie, which is false. Inside on a mat, certainly a mat like this, with a wedge, you're going to get your highest spinning, like low launching shots. So you're basically hitting it off a toothbrush. It's like perfect. It's harder to pop these. You have to concentrate. Yeah. So is the pop on this situation actually helping rather than hurting? And this is where, so for everything in golf, and I say this in every video, loads of videos, for every time a club helps you, there'll be a situation where it hurts you. There's no wins here. The only win here is if your name's Tiger Woods and you're as good as he was. Unfortunately.
I also feel like there is another win, and it's getting a chipper.
Yeah. But don't you think the high pop there has maybe helped?
Yeah, I totally do, yeah.
Because we're sunk and you've got to go up and
like, I'm doing everything I can to try and get that up in the air, basically.
And you've got a low zipper. I mean, look at your spin,
Yeah.
4.5. But 4.5 at that land angle in this situation's not enough.
Your land angle was like 45 or 48, I think.
So descent angle, I was 43, you were 32.
Yeah, big difference, isn't it?
But look, and I was 1,500 less spin, so we all talk about spin as being this thing that we desire, but maybe, I mean, the closest shot of all of them was with the Vokey.
Wet Vokey.
Not a driver, by the way. So I'm 2-0 up. No practices. You go first?
I'm not practicing.
Go on then, Matt, go first.
Calm down.
No practicing. I'm 2-0 up. So Matt's got dry glide, dry ball, 18th pebble. So we're really sunken down, and this green totally. Oh, actually, I'm going to move it slightly even more around over here.
Oh, goodness.
So the green now is totally. It's going away from us towards, because everything slopes towards the water, remember, in the world.
I'm like trying to move it back in the launch monitor to give myself a bit more space.
I don't think that makes a difference.
No,
bro.
I know.
Oh, 2-0 against the chipping legend. 23 yards, and this needs to stop quick.
I think you've taken that status. Your chipping's good now. Sit down.
Massive.
Sit down. Sit. Spin.
See-ya.
Sit.
See-ya.
Sit.
It won't stop.
Oh.
It won't stop. That
Be on
might
the
go
green.
off the green. I don't know if this is almost unplayable.
30.5.
So wet ball, we're using the same ball, and I've got, I'm not even going to dry the face that much. Because this is now where I want my popper. 23.
Oh,
Like that hit the
that's a pop.
ceiling.
That's not on the green.
It doesn't
so
need to
that's
be
a
on
win.
the green.
Of course it does.
25 foot. Why does it need to be on the green?
Well,
who said it needed to be on the green?
Since when is a chipping comp not on the green?
Because it's 25 foot and you were 25 yards or whatever
I
you
wasn't.
were.
I was 30 feet.
But again, that's too hard. But again, that pop, like that's got less spin. Out of interest, where's that landing? A little bit further away?
34.
But there's hardly anything in it.
I know. I feel like land angles are big.
Ignored feature, and that's the thing I'm feeling. I'm just thinking, that's why my first one, I'm trying to land it like deftly, because spin's just not going to help you. Like I can pop that up to hit the roof. Like that's so close to being good.
Yeah.
Right, let's switch clubs then.
Because like, when do you stand over a chip and go, I want loads of spin here, or when do you stand over a chip and go, I want this trajectory?
Yeah, well, I've got a chipper, bruh, so I stand over a chip just thinking, I've won. But I agree. I'm not going for loads of spin.
I'm always standing here thinking, right, I've got no green to work with, it's running away from me, I need this to go high.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking, I need this to go high and I need loads of spin.
Because the variable on spin as well is massive because of you. Where you strike it, where Matt strikes it is going to vary the spin by up to nearly 2,000 revs on a shot like this.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're just thinking, I need to strike this somewhere in my region of X spin.
Yeah.
And I need it landing.
I could make
You need to
myself
win
look
one,
silly
bruh.
here,
That's what
couldn't
you
I?
need.
So was that not a win, that last one?
25 foot, place 30. My math says
In
I'm
the comments
closer.
down below.
No, I don't want comments.
I do, because I know I'll win them.
Has to be on the green. No, nearest the pin.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be on the green on this one.
No, can't be in the bunker. Yeah, so like you're popping that on. Oh, here we go. In. That's going in. In.
Break!
Oh! Look.
Stop!
No! He needs more spin.
Look at it! Just stop!
See, this is now where I feel like spin might win.
30.2. My other one was 30.5. Like, it's impossible. You can't get that close.
You don't reckon if you get the proper spin, you might trick?
I pitched that on the fringe.
Yeah, but it only
Like
had 2,600 spin.
But you're not going to get a
If I go off,
5,000
no, but
spinner
if I
with
go
that.
3,500, 4,000 and landed it there with a similar land angle, will it? It will stop shorter, in theory. I don't know. I'm saying. Let's see, because I could do that. I'm gonna shank this over there.
That popped up so high. Oh, he's gone low spin.
Oh, yes, that really tried to stop.
Yeah, but keep going, keep going. Yes, I think I won. 30.2 to beat 31, yes!
Way! Because that was like...
Look, you keep having 2 goes all the
I'm
time
more
as well.
interested.
You're like practicing.
Really tried to hit. And that's the problem. If you try to hit that high spinner,
Yeah.
like you're just going to do that.
Yeah. So, like when you get the spinner, it's a low one, isn't it?
5,000, 21 foot.
I don't think you can get the high proper
No,
spinner
of course you can't. You
yeah.
can't because it grabs.
Yeah.
It needs to slip. Jury's out on what you need to tell us what you think is better. That's better.
See you later.
Now stop.
It's impossible.
Just stop. I think I won anyway. You won 1 and I won 4.
That's outside of mine. Is it 30.2?
29, no.
You've had 4 goes.
There you go, glide wedges. Very impressive when it comes to controlling levels of spin. No,
Don't watch that one. Don't watch that one.
But at the end of the day, how much will that play out? You decide. We're definitely thinking it's again, you will have situations where it plays out, but I think there'll be plenty where it doesn't. And these are really Will that stay on the green, Matt?
Did you see how I played that one?
That's off the green. Go,
Stop.
go. Yes. You played it not on the green, sir. That's how you played it. But I love the shape. Feel is fine and good. Let me know what you think. Is that a wedge you would consider? Definitely ping wedges have well up their game since the glide range came. Matt just can't do this chip, so that's another win for me.